Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Aquarius. If Aquarius is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, I'm just going to get a little drink. Hope that the cat doesn't push it over. And we'll get started. Okay, let's see what do the leaves have for us, Aquarius? Okay, let's look. And now I just wanted to say thank you so much for choosing to watch this reading. Please, if you would be so kind, like the video. It helps me get into the algorithm and then I will get to more and more people. And if you haven't already, if you feel like you would like to, go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you will be aware when more videos come out for you. And if you would leave a comment on the video, let me know how I'm doing. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know what you're thinking about, how these readings are resonating with you, and just generally, I like to hear from each and every one of you. Okay. Now let's see. We have this very large formation here, and it looks so much like a butterfly, doesn't it? It's got the beautiful wings, very symmetrical. It looks so well formed. Almost all it looks like all of the tea leaves went to that particular formation. Although we do have some other ones around here too. So let's talk about this butterfly. Aquarius, it really seems like you have gone through quite a metamorphosis. You have, had some trouble in the last few months, I think. And I think that, that tapered off a little bit and you were able to make the best of that situation, really invest some time in yourself and dig deep, do some self-work, and you're coming out on the other side of that. And I think that really the things that you have learned, the information you have received from the universe, from your divine, guides, whatever it is that you interact with, whatever speaks to you, however you feel most comforted and led and taught, whatever that looks like. It seems like you've been very in touch with those interior things, okay? And you have emerged on the other side and you are just really coming out of your cocoon. You're spreading your wings. They've already kind of dried up, and now I knew about the process of, an emerging moth or butterfly, but this last summer was the first time I found actually a butterfly that had kind of the wet wings where they're kind of, flapping them and getting ready to figure out how to fly. But also I found a cicada like that. My daughter and I found one down beside a tree, so that was pretty neat. But really, I think that you are beyond even that part, and you just are really ready to soar. Just get into the air and move along. And I think that's, whenever we have a butterfly, that's always, such a peaceful, such a peaceful feeling. Now this is located centrally and in that lower space, but because of the size of this and because of the symbolic nature of the butterfly, I really think this must span all areas of life, within the physical, the mundane, within the mental, psychic, and spiritual parts and aspects of your life. And if you are hearing things, it's my cat that you just saw running around on the table. She got some new scratch boards, and she is making good use of them. I totally forgot they were in this room. Okay, so I think this is going to really tie into all of the other pieces of this reading, and I want to kind of see where we're going to go. Where are we going to go today? That is a happy beginning. And this is an interesting. Now on this side, this one, it looks like a 3, kind of, and this is how I do my 3s, with the flat and then kind of curled at the bottom, like an old-fashioned 3. So I think that the 3, this isn't necessarily a triad of things, but I think that this is quite literally, you're going to see the number 3 appearing in synchronicity and patterns, or some kind of meaningful number will come up with the 3. And when you see it, you'll know, and it will be very apparent to you. It will show itself to you. And I think in that moment, that is when you, you know, are, and this could be a couple different things, but usually when, you know, when a number appears to us, you know, there are the angel numbers and these different kinds of celestial or universal numbers that people talk about. And while I do, you know, I am aware of those, and I have in my time seen such things, right? Sometimes I think too, these numbers appearing, even if they are in sequence and whatnot, it's a good time. It kind of is like an anchor to the now, and it says, okay, stop what you're doing, be present. So it could be something like that, but it also could just be kind of a sign in the road, you know, to pay attention to your surroundings, to see what is next. Maybe there will be something very apparent that will be waiting for you, and maybe there, you know, you're presented with some kind of option to move forward, some kind of choice, okay? And I think the 3 is the number that you're going to be looking for. Now this one is really pretty. I like these kind of, they remind me of like votive statues or devotional postures. This one to me looks very much like a kneeling priest and holding a hand up, okay, holding an offering, and a bird coming down to land or take whatever is there. Okay, so the bird in this formation very much represents to me spirit, okay, and this Sophic manifestation of spirit, and this person kneeling in this devotional posture, which is so beautiful, very much related to, I think, your psyche right now. I think that you really are, because you've gone through these things recently and you've done so much of the self-work, I think that you have really been thinking about how to include more ritual into your life, maybe more spirituality, creating your own methods and traditions and rituals, and maybe keeping an altar, you know, whatever that looks like for you. But I think that this is a really good time to kind of employ that desire. Gather the things that you want to use for your devotional acts, and make that part of your routine. Make it something that you do consistently, and see how it goes for a while. Do it for a few weeks, and see how you feel. I would write about this process. I would think about the messages that you're receiving during this period, the feelings that you're having, the impressions that are coming through. This is my cat right here trying to pull my hand down. And, keep track of that stuff. I think it's always interesting when we begin a new operation or a new cycle of work, spiritual work, that is. And when you keep track of it, you can go back and kind of look for the patterns you may have missed later on, okay? And I think that's so important, and I think that will be really helpful for you. And I really get this strong sensation that the universe is really smiling on you. I think that you are feeling this sense of aliveness that is really emerging after a period of time that you maybe were feeling pretty depleted and uninspired, maybe even to some degree abandoned by the divine, okay? Because it didn't seem to be interacting with you. You weren't in that mode of feeling it around you and, pouring out of you, flowing into you, all of that. But because you have gone through some kind of ordeal and had to look inward to kind of process some of this stuff, it really has opened a space within you so that you may receive these things. And now, they're never not happening, but it really is so much about our perception, isn't it? And, I'm just like you or anybody else, where I can go through, months and months of every day and every night, and while I'm sleeping, I'm getting all of these influxes of experiences and messaging, and just feeling kind of that divine ecstasy, the agape. Just it feels like I'm gliding through life, kind of, and there's this divine love flowing through me and of me, and out of me, and it's such a blissful kind of feeling. But then it can wane. Definitely, I can go for long periods, 6 months, a year, where I feel like I'm like a tumbleweed blowing across the tundra or the prairie, or just a very barren landscape. And the only thing that I feel that I am doing is surviving, right? And even that can be difficult, okay? And so it's not, I guess the reason I even say this is that, and I know I share a lot about myself and my own experience, but that's because I don't want to speak on things that I have no concepts of, or I don't have any experience. I only want to speak from a place of empathy. And so I share with you my experience because I want you to know that, like, it's not coming from a place of judgment, or, so I read some books, and, I can kind of just imagine what it might be like. Well, no, I've been in these places and I understand. And I say that from my heart and my soul. And I know I've gotten a comment or two where somebody had said, you talk too much about yourself. Well, I'm sorry if somebody feels like that but this is how I relate to the people that I'm reading for. And I want you to know that you have a home in me, right? We meet heart to heart here. And even if we never speak privately, I am speaking to you, and I want you to know that I understand and I receive you, okay? And I'm not going to turn you away. And no matter how hard you've hurt, or how joyous you've been, or somewhere in between, I see you and I hear you, okay? And, I do talk about myself a little bit, but, it's from a place of love, okay? It's not because I want to just go on and on about myself, but, I think that, you Aquarius have really, you've gone through some periods where, you felt very much out of touch with things, okay? And that can feel like abandonment. It can feel like, God or the universe has turned its back on you, forgotten you. It's not speaking to you, stonewalling you, however you want to think of it, okay? And that is not an uncommon thing for, spiritual people, laymen, holy men, holy women, holy others, anybody, a holy person, clergy, what initiated. It is not uncommon for these people, these beings, to feel the same things. People who have devoted their entire lives to these paths, right? And maybe you also have done that, but maybe you're not. Maybe you're more like me, where you have one foot in the in the mundane and domestic life, or working life and secular life, and then the other foot very much in your spirituality and interior work and so on. And so I'm just telling you that it's disheartening, but you get through it, okay? And you will get through it. You will get through it. You will get through it. And you just keep going and you keep going. And it's brutal. It's so brutal. It's so brutal. It's almost vulgar. Okay? This absence, this emptiness. But that space is it's so beautiful in a certain way, that melancholy space, because it provides you with room to learn to breathe, right? And to be alone. And as it shifts, oh yeah, the winds come in and the seasons shift, and suddenly, you're starting to, evolve into this new cycle again, and you're that butterfly, you're that devotional being. You start to have these impulses of from this desperate needing to this swollen love, right? And it's like, as the spring comes in and the things start growing, and then suddenly everything is so lush and so full of life. And that's what happens with us. We mirror what is outside of us. And I don't mean that, as the days turn, you're going to exactly mirror spiritually what's happening in the environment. But we also go through these same kinds of cycles. And that is normal. That's so normal, and whatever normal means, but it is okay. And it's okay to admit that you suffer through that. It's okay to I'm not going to cuss. I almost said the F, but, to hurt, to need to scream, just, the opposite of bliss, right? And, I feel like you have gone through some of that, Aquarius. And that's why I look at this and I'm like, oh, this is beautiful. This is really beautiful. I feel this energy, this vibrance coming. And I see this beautiful fish here. And it reminds me of a lovely koi with the little fin here and the body, and it's wrapped around. And that's so much in the psychic, mental, interior dialogue kind of space here. And it's going up into this more spiritual, metaphysical, higher consciousness space. And this is always the beautiful image of prosperity, of health, vibrant longevity, not just longevity despite the suffering, right? It is a voluptuous, beautiful, thriving, happy, not always happy, but at least content, right? Wantful life, okay? A life that is of purpose, feels of purpose. And we continue to create things that make us feel like we're living for a purpose. And that's what that fish is about, right? It just, and the thing about the koi, and I know this because I have somebody in my family who has a beautiful koi pond and really big koi. I watched them grow over the last 10, 15 years and they've gotten so big. But the thing about the koi, just like anything else, just like we were talking about with the seasons of, your spiritual well-being, seasons within the plant life around us. The koi, as the water cools down, they go slower, their body stops, they stop eating because their body can't process the food anymore. And they move, they're alive, but even if there's ice over the top of the pond, they're down at the bottom and they're barely moving. They're kind of hibernating. It's not exactly hibernating, but it's very similar. And they make it through the whole winter like that until it gets warmer and the sun's on them and the water heats up and, they start to have the more energy to move. So even the koi here, this beautiful, prosperous, healthy koi has its seasons, as do we all, right? So I think this is just a wonderful cup that really is talking so much about these transits of time, these cycles of life, the ebbs and flows. This one's really neat. It looks so much like, it almost it looks like a praying mantis. Okay, here are the eyes, and here's the little hand, arm, and the body down here. It almost looks like it's smoking. We'll forget that part, but it does. It looks like it has a little sting and a little smoke or whatever. For me, and this is kind of one of my more bizarro relations and symbols, is that the praying mantis is always related to timekeeping for me, because I think of these mantoid, like mantis humanoid, I don't know what they call them, like a ultra-terrestrial, extraterrestrial, multi-dimensional, in kind of the paranormal field. But with my own experience of them through my own visions and interior kind of landscapes and stuff, these are the beings that take care of the framework for the base reality. So that's like the reality that we share with each other, where, in our waking life. Okay. And these are and we call them the timekeepers, or I call them the timekeepers anyways. And, they're in charge of keeping that kind of matrix going, keeping everything kind of flowing and, just happening as it is supposed to. And every once in a while, there's a little glitch here and there. Okay. So I think this, for me, when these show up in my readings, which isn't very often, I think that this maybe is related to the 3 because it's so close to it right here, is that there's going to be some kind of noticeable glitch happening, some kind of thing that doesn't seem to add up for you. Okay, so this could be almost like those I always call them the mandala. It's Mandela. I always see the mandala effect. And my husband Paul is like, that's not what it's called. But if you are familiar, this is something where you have a memory, a very strong memory of something, and collectively people have the same memory of something, but suddenly it has changed. Okay, so somebody famous, Nelson Mandela. Now I'm all mixed up. Anyways, a lot of people remembered that he had died in the 80s, I think. And apparently he didn't die until, this is terrible. I don't remember. Maybe like 5 or 10 years ago. So, like 30 years later than people had thought he had died. So this is like a phenomena where we all kind of have a false memory, or something something happened in the matrix, like, or in our collective reality where we're on a different timeline and the details have changed. Okay, and it's just noticeable enough that we're all kind of like, what the heck, right? So I think that this is kind of like a good indicator that you're going to have something like this happen in your life. It might not be as big of a, shared false memory as that, or maybe it's just something like a feeling, just a weird feeling suddenly, or maybe an interaction with, some kind of entity or phenomena in your space, in your house, or, in your life somewhere. You're going to encounter something. I'm not saying you're going to like encounter a ghost or aliens or anything like that, but, just something that feels uncanny. Okay. So look for that. And let's see, where are we? We have the fish, and this one's cute. It reminds me of like, I think they're terriers. The ones with when they let their hair grow really long and they look like just like Cousin It, and that's dating me. Yes, I'm older, so yes, Cousin It with the long hair and you can't see its face and stuff. But these dogs, they have the really long hair and they just kind of like, little legs, and they run around. And so anyways, I could go on and on. It reminds me of one of those little dogs, and the dogs like these little lap dogs, they're so much of a symbol of companionship, of loyalty, of love, of comfort. And I think that you really have, and this is in that psychic mental space going over into the spiritual. But I think you have somebody in your life that really just has stuck by you, and you've stuck by them. And you two, I'm not saying they're your lapdog, okay? That's not what I mean. But they have that feeling of somebody who's always there for you. You could call them whenever. Maybe they live with you. But you can always talk to them. You can always be yourself. And they just love you. They just love you for the sake of loving you, not for any other conditional thing. Okay. And I think that, you are very lucky if you have that in your life, because not a lot of people do. That's a very rare kind of bond to have with somebody. Okay. Now I wanted to look at this last one on here. Oh, actually, I wanted to look at this too, because this is a C, okay? And I just wanted to point that out. We have a C name, C, like Charlie, Carlene, whatever, Kathy. Is Kathy with a C? Yeah. Or it could be something about them. whatever. They could be a cop or a cleaner or whatever, some kind of job title or a descriptor of them. Okay, so this person, I don't know how they're related, but they're important enough to be in this middle area. It's somebody that is in your everyday life. I see that they're kind of right above this beautiful butterfly. So maybe this is somebody that you are connecting with through this transitional phase that you're going through, and this real like blooming that you have going on. And this will be somebody that you really are connected with through this. Now, I keep trying to decide. This one really looks like it has a witch's hat on, kind of that like European witch hat. And I'm sorry, my cat. Yesterday, you guys, he got up here while I was doing a reading. Thankfully, it was a private reading, but he got up here and he spilled my whole cup of tea all over the table. So anyways, that really was like not the highlight of my day. So we have this kind of the witch hat, okay, a little star or something, and this body just kind of flying through the sky, okay. And so we're talking about a night transit of a magical being, okay. And I'm gonna move this over because the cat's got his tail next to it. I don't want him to ruin your saucer, Pudgy. And it's a night transit. So going across the sky on her broom, on his broom, on their broom. And this is, I feel like this whole reading is just so much about your big evolution in life right now. There's just so much movement towards the future. You have worked so hard. You are blossoming. You are just coming into your power so deeply and so truly. I feel like you just are really like alive, just on fire with life right now. You're feeling good. I think that you feel good about yourself. Your intellect, how you feel about your looks, just, all of the things that you feel like you're good at, you just are really like into it. And, as they say, you are feeling yourself right now. Okay. And, there's such a lightness. It's like a lightness, but there's just like a swollen feeling of it, right? It's just so, it reminds me so much of just this beautiful goddess, like the plumpeting of life in you. And I don't necessarily mean, being pregnant, but being pregnant with life. And just that power that when you start to really come into that, like knowing, like I can do this, I have this, I know myself, I know I can do it, nobody is going to stop me. I'm going to figure out how to get through this, how to do this. I'm going to take advantage of this beautiful flow of, everything aligning and going my way right now, all the inspiration, and nobody can stop you. Okay. You just are unstoppable right now. And gotta move your foot, Mister. Okay, now I want to look at, all right, so I want to pull this card up. I don't always talk about them. I just feel like, I don't know how this ties into this reading, honestly. I was trying to keep, an open mind about it. It is futility, okay? And I just don't see where this really relates to anything that we're talking about. Unless there's something that I missed, I feel like everything is really going in alignment. Everything is in alignment is what I mean. I don't see where there is a weak spot. I don't see where things are going to be failing. It must be such a minor detail that I'm not picking up on. Okay, so I I had thought maybe we would see like maybe like a minor relationship issue, or somebody who just isn't, you're not coming into agreement with them. But I really don't see where it is. So I honestly am turning this over. I'm pushing it aside. They don't always go with what's going on. This might be like part of one of my other readings or my own personal reading. I don't know. But it's not this, okay? All right. Let's see. I get this imagery in my mind while I'm looking at this of like hitting the ceiling. And why is that? I almost get this feeling that there's somebody that is a male or masculine person in your family, and it feels like almost like a brother, maybe a father-in-law, something like that. And they are just kind of a shitty person. As far as how they talk to you, like it's almost like they are scoffing at how things are going for you. Like, okay, well, this isn't gonna last, okay? And you're gonna hit a wall, or you're gonna hit the ceiling, and you're not gonna be able to get through it, right? So I get this like imagery of just kind of like a real smug type of person. And maybe this is what that futility is about. Okay, maybe that's what it is. Maybe this person, you're never going to win them over. You're never going to, make them believe in you the way that you want them to, because it has so much effort. And it's like, even if they did, it wouldn't even feel worth it, because it's just like, it's so conditioned. There's so many conditions to how you relate to this person that it would not feel good, as good as you would hope it to be if they were just if they became accepting of you. If they were just unconditionally accepting, they were honest, but they, also were rooting for you to do everything that you can do and do well in life, then it would be wonderful. But this person, I just feel like there's just a troubled relationship together, and there's a lot of snarkiness and just belittlement. And I think that really just, I'm looking at this and I feel like you're just, despite all of that, you're just working towards, doing better and better. And I almost think that, like, just forget about them. They don't need to know how you're doing. You don't need to check in with them or try to impress them. Okay, that person is a futile mission to ever make that person happy, because how they feel has nothing to really do with you. It is all about their own feeling of self. So I think part of your growth and really just being able to fully enjoy the things that you've accomplished recently is going to be letting go of that person's role in your life. I mean, I'm not saying go no contact with them, but I think just try to put them out of your mind. Don't think about what they would think of something, okay? And when you have good news, don't go running to them to tell them, or hope that, somebody else in your family is going to relate it to them and they're going to have like a nice thing to say, because I really don't feel like it's really going to happen. So, I think that maybe is where our cards came from. I'm going to flip it back over. But yeah, it really, I don't know. I'm sorry if that resonates with you. And I really hope that it doesn't, honestly, because it sucks to have people like that in your life, and especially when they're family and you're kind of stuck with them. So, yeah. But you're doing amazing, Aquarius. I think that, I'm going to do a little clap for you. I'm so proud of you, excited for you. You are a beautiful butterfly, and I can't wait to see what the next reading is going to be for you. Okay. All right. So I want to go ahead and thank you so much for spending some time with me. Thank you so much for allowing me to bring this message to you. I'm always so honored. If you are interested in, seeing more videos, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and click the notification thing. Then you'll be able to get little updates when new videos are coming out. If you are liking the readings, please like the videos because it really helps me get into the algorithm. And go ahead and comment. That also helps me. But more than that, I love hearing from you. I want to hear what's going on with you. I want to hear how you're feeling. How are these readings resonating with you? Let me know how you think I'm doing. All of that good stuff. Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope that you have a most lovely morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching this. I'm so thankful for you. Bye.